A villain in a TV show could make or break a show. I get that. But today, I just want to talk about some of my favorite villains, my personal list of all time. Now, when I'm talking about some of my favorite villains, some of the character traits that I like to bring up are if they're compelling, if they have a lot of charisma, and how charismatic they are. So today, this is going to be some of my top favorite villains. I'll also have an honorable mention list, but I'll go with my top 5, and like with any other list that I have for my own opinion, sometimes they could change. There's going to be slight spoilers. I won't go into all of it, but be warned, there's going to be spoilers. I'm not going to try to change everything that you guys know, and just in case I pique your interest, I still want you to go into this with at least some fresh eyes. Honorable mentions is going to be from Dexter, the Trinity Killer.
Hello, Dexter Morgan.
I think the Trinity Killer is somebody that is the strongest villain from Dexter, hands down, no doubt. Also, Light from Death Note. Whew. He almost made it in my top 5, but still a great villain. I'm not gonna say anybody that's not in my top 5 is not great. These honorable mentions should be some strong, at least to show you like, oh man, he means business. Light didn't make it on his top 5. If my top 10, definitely he's up there. But top 5, give it today, not today. He's not on my list today. This girl is named Bev. She's from a TV show called Midnight Mass. And the best way I want to describe her is if you've ever seen Harry Potter, if you know who Dolores Umbridge is, Bev is exactly like Dolores Umbridge, but she hides not behind the school system, she hides behind religion.
I'm sure we're all going to be very good friends.
You aren't a good person. Well, that was uncalled for.
And yo, she elicits the exact same emotions. She's her own character, but man, do I hate her. All right, so now let me just go right into my top 5. Top 5 should be no surprise, but Homelander.
I don't make mistakes. I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better. I am better.
Homelander is one of the most gripping villains. You love to hate this dude. He's one of the best parts of The Boys, and in the last probably 10 years, he's been one of the top best villains that gets his praise, and I want to give him his flowers. Homelander is a really great villain. Staying with the Amazon Prime, because it seems like they know how to make some of their villains, let's go into Omni-Man. Ooh, Omni-Man is, I would say he's almost like Homelander on steroids, not just when it comes to power moves, but when it comes to all the layers that he has.
You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark, think! You'll outlast every fragile, insignificant being on this planet.
This man is gripping. Anytime J.K. Simmons gets to talk, this man commands presence, but he's very complex.
This planet? Fine. What's 17 more years? I can always start again. Make another kid.
You should die.
You don't understand. I'm not supposed to feel this way. How is this better?
And that is one of the reasons why I'm always glued to Invincible. And these last 2 seasons, he's in it enough to make you just you always feel his presence. J.K. Simmons, Omni-Man, just nails it. His voice work, the way that he says everything. I love me some Omni-Man. Number 4, for my own personal choice, it comes from the Game of Thrones series. And I know that it's probably easy to guess maybe Joffrey.
I am the king!
But no, my favorite villain that was ever in that show is Tywin Lannister. Tywin Lannister is brilliant. His levels of being able to come up with a strategy is mesmerizing. And then there's just one little small line that he says about orchestrating the Red Wedding.
Do you disapprove?
I'm all for cheating. This is war. But to slaughter them at a wedding.
Explain to me why it is more noble to kill 10,000 men in battle than a dozen at dinner.
No. He's got a point.
And while we lost a lot of characters that I love, his way of just justifying it was nice. My number 2 pick comes from one of my favorite shows of all times, and that's Last Airbender. I'm still going to do my best of not doing any spoilers, but my favorite villain in that show, Azula. Azula is... This is a kid's show, but I always, whenever she shows up on screen, she just elicits a feeling of just wrath that just comes from you.
You're going to have to be a little more specific.
And like, she's an opposing threat, but once again, she's cunning.
Yes! We defeated you for all time! You will never rise from the ashes of your shame and humiliation!
She's smart. She's very tactical when she's coming and approaching it, which makes her a threat. And she knows it. And just her emotional manipulation of everything, she's one of the best villains ever written of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, which in my opinions are 100% law. So if you disagree with it, I can take you to jail. Sorry about that. All right, last one, really easy. Favorite villain of all time for me, where we're talking about charisma, very threatening, and I've got to go to Better Call Saul. I've got to go with my favorite villain, and his name is Lalo.
What? Tell me again.
This man is frightening. Like, when I surface level, if you had to describe what Lalo is, you would just describe him, he's handsome, he dressed well, he has a nice smile, very charisma, like he has good traits, yet all of the ways that he's using it is frightening. The first time you get to see him, he's making breakfast for one other character, and the way that this character is reacting alone, you can tell that this man is powerful. Lalo is the scariest villain in the Breaking Bad universe. I used to think it was Walter White, or you can go even with the Chicken Man, but no, Lalo comes in, rechanges that whole like hierarchy of villains. And Lalo is my favorite villain.
Okay. Let's talk.
Well, that's my list. Wanted to make this a short video. Tell me your list and tell me if you agree with anybody on my list or somebody you think I should have put on there. But until next time, thank you guys.